Hello, I'm Ted Snell from Edith Cowan University, and I'm one of the co-conveners of the Voices from the Edge, negotiating the local in the global, the 16th Arts in Society Annual International Conference, this year hosted by the University of Western Australia. And on behalf of my co-conveners, Dr. Kim Lee and Mr. Avi Vartel, both from the University of Western Australia, we are delighted to welcome you, though sadly not in person, so that you can share the delights of our beautiful city. But firstly, I want to acknowledge that we meet today on Whadjuk Noongar land, and I acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people and their ancestors as the original owners and the spiritual and cultural custodians of their country. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. We also acknowledge the First Nations peoples from around the globe, from wherever our speakers will come from for this conference, and we thank them for their hospitality in sharing their country with us all. Perth is located on the western edge of Australia. Historically, the citizens of this city have seen themselves as an isolated community, victims of what Professor Geoffrey Blainey calls the tyranny of distance. Now, though, we are conscious that instead of being isolated, we are at the centre of the communications map of the 21st century. We inhabit the same time zone as 1/3 of the world's population and look out on the Indian Ocean, whose rim holds another third of the globe's inhabitants. The waves of digital media, of culture and commerce have transformed our sense of ourselves, and new art forms, media and venues, from digital spaces to galleries to the street, have eroded previous notions of geographic isolation. While there may be an ever-present monocultural form of globalization that flows through these digital nodes and their algorithmic logics, there is also an opportunity to project localisms on a scale never before seen. And there is an energy that derives from living on this western edge. It is a catalyst for new ideas and new approaches. It generates a sense of urgency and of making do, and it creates a space that can only be inhabited through bold action. Those on the western edge of the continents have a lot in common. They look out over oceans that bring people together. They see further, and they observe days ending over a far horizon that welcomes nights of dreaming and imagining. They open themselves up to new ideas. The extraordinary landscape and ecology of this place also demands a response, and artists find their own ways to inflect received knowledge with their experience of living here. Networks expand and embrace, and those on the western edge are open and welcoming. There is less to lose and so much more to gain. Many artists on this western edge work globally and think expansively. They are influenced by geography, but they are not constrained by it. In times of change, and all times change, artists act as a weather vane, catching the first breath of an idea that will set a new course. These localisms are an opportunity for the edge to project their voice into the new expansive centre. And, in the current political and ecological context, diverse perspectives will be critical to address the crisis facing our planetary existence. So our special focus in 2021 is to consider how cultural institutions such as museums and galleries play a role in the larger projects of community formation, of nation building and global politics. How do artistic media work with and interpret cultural flows and institutionalised spaces? Over the next 3 days, we'll be stimulated and illuminated as we discuss these topics. I have no doubt it will be an exciting ride, so welcome. And please come in person to Perth at some time in the future when travel is once again possible. Thank you so much, welcome to the conference, and enjoy the next 3 days.